the end of the package. Well,
Maybe we'll do a screen share on that. If you want to do it that way. Anyway, we've got to start with the agenda anyway, so,
okay.
which I will bring up. And maybe we'll do a screen share on that. Want to do it that way?
Okay, so we're live with YouTube now.
Okay, so I will bring up the agenda,
Okay.
and then that way we'll stick to that, and I will try and do a better job of taking the minutes. So that's the agenda.
I don't see it.
Neither do I.
Well, try and do screen share again.
Oh, let me give you.
Oh,
that
I need,
permission.
there we go. I need permission. There we go. That would be helpful.
Okay.
All right.
And you should be good now.
Yep. That's okay. My Teams wants to restart.
Got it.
All righty. Now I will, on the other screen, bring up the minutes and let's see if I get them today. Okay. Helen, over to you.
Okay, so calling this meeting to order. It is, I think it was 7:43. 7:43. Okay, so disclosure of pecuniary interest in nature thereof. Anyone?
No.
Mike
No.
has none.
None for me. Okay, so approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Michael make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, and there's no amendments, so I'm just
Did
going to-
we find April 4th?
No, not yet.
So do we need to change this agenda since item number 4 is to approve those minutes?
Well, we haven't got there yet. We're still approving the agenda.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so motion passed. We had a
Yep.
first and a second. Okay. Approval of minutes of April 4th, 2022.
They're not available. I can't find them at this moment in time.
Okay.
So I'm
So
just going
we-
to put I'll keep looking, but
Okay.
we'll have to carry on.
Okay, so moving on to item number 5, review of presentation for council regarding zero emission vehicle, and that should be charging stations. Is that, oh, infrastructure program. Okay, there's the rest of it. Okay, zero emission vehicle infrastructure program.
Okay.
Okay,
So do you want, Mike, do you want me to bring yours up and we can look at it this way? How do you want to go about doing this?
Do you want to just finish with the agenda and then we'll approve it and then we can go to the package?
Well, we did approve the agenda.
Well, okay. So that when,
It's just the previous meeting minutes. We can't review because I can't find them.
oh, okay. So do we have to make a note that it's been going to be deferred or?
I've just made a note that they're not available and I might find them while we're still looking.
okay.
Is that okay, Councillor Bob?
That's working well.
Yay. Okay. Phew, got something working today.
Okay, so
Now, sorry, if I had a third monitor, life would just be wonderful here right now because I want to bring up Mike's presentation and then that way, do you want to do a preface or anything, Mike?
I only just, as I mentioned before, I had sent an updated package today. I hope everybody got that. It was the same package I sent over comments with just some more reference data added to the end and some photographs.
All right,
Okay.
so what I'm going to do,
I did
Mhm.
receive that. I haven't had a chance to look at it. I am up to date as of the version just before the one that came out today.
Okay, well, that's fine.
which one do you want me to open first? The one from today or the original one?
One from today would be great.
I'll do that and I'll just bring it over here to my other monitor. And voila. Okay.
Super.
So the intent today, I guess, is just for Mike to lead us through it and
What I'll do, I'll kind of review the package, and I think the idea at this point is for you all to have a look at it, as we go through it, if there's any changes you want to make, any comments you want to add or anything like that, we can do that now. And then what I'll do is once we can then approve the package with, if it's amended package with whatever the changes are. And then once we got that package, I'll finalize it. And then we could, maybe what I could do, then I'll send it to Helen, and then Helen can send it to the council.
Okay.
Would that work?
Remember, always include the deputy clerk on any of your SAM. That's the mailbox that keeps getting checked for this.
I feel like I need an org chart or a graphic that says, that has this, if this, then to why. Little decision tree there. Okay, and before we get started on this though, Bob, if you can clarify a couple of details. So is the format that we're looking at okay? Does it need to be in PowerPoint as a first question? Just
No,
so
I
we
don't
can keep
believe
that in
so.
mind as we go through this and think of alterations and things like that.
No, I believe it can be presented as a text presentation.
Okay,
That's the way it would be included in the packages.
okay,
There's no need to do, this isn't an official submission or however you would put it to council. This is information to council from this committee to help prepare them
okay.
as much as
Okay,
anything
good.
else. Yeah.
Okay, so we can work within Word and not worry about trying to fit this text onto a slide or anything else like that. Good.
Yes.
Is there an actual presentation, or is it that we are presenting this information via an email and they're going to read it? I think when we say things like presentation, I have the literal definition in my mind. And so if we can just clarify that, that would be good too.
Well, this could be framed as a recommendation to council, or this isn't a resolution
Okay,
so much as a recommendation to council to pursue so this will be, council will review this, and then they will have to refer this to staff and say, okay, staff, be
okay,
aware that this is out there. If, again, if council agrees, which hopefully they will, but the idea is that they would task staff with keeping, being aware of the grant programs that are out there, and that the possibility exists to have a great deal of funding for this project. So
okay.
what we're doing is presenting the information and giving them the background so that they're ready and staff can proceed.
Okay, good. So there is no expectation that Mike will attend a council meeting and present this information. He's not standing up there with a pointer and going, and next slide, and next slide.
Probably what I could do is I could be there as a reference if someone had a question. That
Yeah.
would be useful.
No, it certainly would, Mike. And the next council meeting, they're hoping to have it in person for councilors, but you could be as a guest and then invited to speak, as we have with et cetera. So you would monitor, and then they would unmute your mic if they had a question to ask you.
Okay,
That would be great if
So-
you let me know then if I can come as a guest.
I certainly will. Yeah.
okay. All right, so as it stands, this is our format that we're going with, a Word document. We will email it to the deputy,
clerk? Yeah,
and then we will leave it with them to follow up if they would like Mike at their next meeting to discuss this,
Yeah.
take questions.
and I apologize again for my not being here on time. Anyway, I won't make excuses, but I will certainly follow up on this with the staff.
Okay, good. Okay, so sorry for that, but those were burning questions in my mind that were going to distract us from moving forward, because I would have asked them sooner or later. So hopefully everyone else benefited from that clarification too. Okay, so Mike, do you want to take us through this?
Okay, so I put together this package. It was from the result of our last meeting where we discussed the fact that we wanted to have something to be able to present to council, to give them an idea of what was happening with regards to electric vehicle charging. So I did some research, and this paper is basically some of the information that I pulled up that I thought was pertinent. There's obviously a lot of different companies that are out doing this. Municipalities are doing it. There's a lot of private companies doing it. So there's a lot of information out there. And what I did is I basically gleaned a couple of different suppliers, and I got a quote from one of them, so we'd have some kind of real numbers to work with. And this was sort of a culmination of that bit of research. Obviously, if it does go through to the municipal administration, I'd be very happy to supply a lot of the information that I was able to pull together for them. I can forward that to them, so that would be, I think, useful. So the package, if I wanted to start to it, is, as I said, the idea of this thing, the reason for it was to provide some information with regards to how the purchasing, the installation, operation of CV charging infrastructure for Marrickville-Wolford. And basically, right now, the whole idea of electric cars and the savings and the greenness of it, if you like, is really in the news. It's really happening. So the federal government has had a program which is called the Zero Emission Vehicle Infrastructure Program, or VZIP program. And it's been running for a number of years. And last year, at the end of last year, it closed. When the project closed, they then said that they were planning to renew it. And the idea was it was going to be brought back in spring of 2022. And the idea now is that we're going to open up that program to private businesses and to municipalities. Previously, the program was geared towards the heavy route 401, the main arteries in Southern Ontario. So the program was structured for that. But with the new program they're going to be coming up with this year, it's going to be open to everyone. So it's a real opportunity for the municipality to be able to get involved with that and pick up some of these grants. So as I said, the next bit is going to happen in the spring of 2022. Typically what they do is they provide 50% of the finances, and it's a total finances. It's a finance for planning, for administration, taxes, whatever. The whole package is part of the funding, not just the cost of the actual charging stations. So it does incorporate, the whole cost, so it becomes more usable, if you like. The photo you're seeing there is actually of a charging station in Carleton Place, and Carleton Place has 3 of them that they've installed, and that gives you an idea what they look like. The one that's shown there is actually a two plug unit. You can see on either side of the yellow housing, there's 2 plugs there, 2 black housings. Those plug-ins, basically, electric car just parks in front of this station. They can plug in 2 cars at the same time. This particular one is a level 2 charger, which is a 240 volt charger. Typically, sort of the average charging rate for one of these chargers is about 2 hours and 20 minutes. And that's for about an 80% charge.
Mike,
So that gives you an idea.
so are you able to incorporate those details with that picture? This is a 2-vehicle station and a level 2. Yeah, that might be helpful. That might give a little more context to.
Yeah, I can add it right into the title.
Perfect.
EV charger level 2.
I don't, that's something that I would find beneficial if I was, counsel and trying to understand what I'm looking at.
Okay.
I would also, I know you've got up here total project cost, but I like that you elaborated on that.
Well, actually, in the text I've added to part of the reference material, it does talk to that.
Okay.
So it will.
I caught a spelling error, Mike, so I'll send this back.
Okay. All right, so basically, I'm going to discuss the why, where, when, how in the next bit here. And what I'll do is discuss some of the points. So why do we want to do this? Well, first of all, it's a really good thing to do from a point of reducing emissions. We want to get to a zero net emission future. The accessibility, right now, there's actually electric chargers, there's not that many of them. So accessibility is a big deal if you own an electric car. Where do you plug it in? And the fact that affordable, there's a grant that we will be able to apply for. The cost of level 2 chargers, what I'm recommending for this proposal, is actually very cost effective. And to have a 2 plug-in unit, like I said, it's less than $1,500 to do that with the grant. Yes, Bob?
Yeah, Mike, just to go back up, it said in your initial statement that up to 50% of the cost would be covered under the government program. So the next phase, it says, is which cover up to 50% of the cost. And I think your original, when we were speaking about this, they were covering up to $5,000 per plug. So
Yeah,
is there any change in the funding for these units in the second phase?
So the way they talk about it is they say that basically that everything is included for the actual cost, and they specify they'll fund 50% to a maximum of $5,000 for a level 2. So I could add that to that statement if you like, and I kind of picked it up by saying to a fixed maximum value, and we could say on 5,000. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm still yeah, I'm still not clear on all the math, because further down there's yeah, there's some more numbers, and it was like, I don't know that meshes with what's being said. But anyway, for right now, the less than $1,500 per plug, if the grant picks up half the cost, and let's just take the less out and say the cost of municipality is $1,500 per plug. That being a 50% discount, we're saying a charging station is only $3,000.
No, sorry, that's not how that reads. The way it works is that the total cost is in $11,000 type of number. So 50% of that is what is allowable, if you like, to a maximum of 5,000. So if you only put in one plug and you paid $6,000 for a plug, you would get a $5,000 grant.
Would you, or is it incremental? So if you, because the details, right? So yeah, and maybe you've read this. So I'll let you answer the question.
So it's per plug. For a level 2 charger, they give you $5,000 per plug. If you spend $20,000 on that installation because you're putting in the services cost was really high, they'll still only give you $5,000.
So as I understand it, then it's $5,000 per plug, and you're talking about the expenses being things like bollards or protection for the unit. But if you can hang the unit off a hydro pole, they will fund up to $5,000 per plug.
And if it costs you, if you can show the expense of $5,000, yeah, you'll get $5,000. If you only spend $4,000, you're obviously only going to get $4,000.
Right.
It's to a maximum, right?
Yeah, but the initial cost of the units doesn't change. That's correct. It's still $5,000 per plug. And then it's the additional cost that they will fund 50% above that?
No, the total cost of the total package. So if the total installation unit, everything costs $12,000, they would give you $5,000 per plug. If you have 2 plugs, you get $10,000. And basically the difference is what you owe, which you have to pay. So maybe what I should do, the confusion here is the 50%. So, but that's how they word the grant. So, but I could remove the 50% from the discussion and just leave it at $5,000 per.
No, I think this, to me, this makes sense. I think we're getting hung up on this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
That's what, like, the other part makes is there's a lot of clarity. So
Mhm.
maybe it's that part.
Okay.
I would just, the other side of it too is do we want to say, pick this one versus please investigate, this is what we're recommending.
no, good point, Donna. You're right. What we're doing is presenting information here, and the municipality will have to determine whether, because whatever grants are available, they will have to apply for them, and they'll do the background and the research when they apply.
Maybe we'll do, just remove the less than $1,500.
Well, yeah, what I'll do is because I'm gonna send this back to you, is just remove allowing for, the sort of MW to assess, right?
yeah. Cost for municipality. Yeah, take the
Okay.
numbers out.
Okay,
And actually, to that point about only, we've kind of zeroed in on this option of a level 2 charging station. Refresh my memory, Mike, up above, does it say that there's 3 levels of charging stations?
Yes, it's in one of the following paragraphs.
Okay, thank you.
how about this, for example, with a,
Because the other type of level 1 and level 3 funding is different values.
right, with, this is, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right, cost,
yeah, so cost for municipal, I'd change it to nominal because again, we don't want to say small, but $1,500 could be large to a municipality. So to me, it's nominal. It just doesn't sound quite as small. Cost for municipalities nominal, for example. Okay, so I'm recommending that we strike this out. For example, with a proposed level 2 federal government grants. This is, yeah. I almost would just take this whole thing. Like, to me, I would strike this whole thing right out. Because it's almost repetitive to what we said above.
well, what we could say is cost to municipality is nominal with grants or something to that effect.
Okay, yeah.
Why don't you
And
say
not mention,
may I suggest you say with level 2 grant? 0, da, 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 da. is
Okay,
equal
yeah,
funding.
I can do that. Okay, so we'll do that.
'Cause it's only for level 2 that you get the 5,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, and that's why we don't want to be telling them what to get. We more want to just say,
The object of this.
go
picture,
investigate. Yeah,
They're making a recommendation. So the recommendation is for level 2. And that's where all of the reasoning comes. In addition to that, there are others funding that's available, but it's not practical.
okay, so you're specifically stating a level 2 grant. Okay,
And
Okay.
if council does, and the municipality decide that, okay, they researched it and they discovered that, oh, well, okay, we're willing to pay the $80,000 and put in a level 3 charger, fantastic, even better. But
well,
I wouldn't
Tesla, I
recommend it.
think you saw Tesla is having some installed locally too, eh?
yeah,
Not
they're going
locally
to,
here, but
is that the ones in Kempville?
yeah.
Those are for Teslas only, though. Right?
No, they're making it that Tesla has to make them available to other electric cars, but then there'll be
Are they?
probably a larger fee. I think that's how I read it.
Okay,
So
I'll have to review
I should-
that. The impression I got was that these were for Tesla vehicles, and that in the future they might be available for other vehicles. But
That's a possibility too.
You're correct, Bob. One of the things
Okay.
that's bad news, if you like, about Tesla fast chargers, which is what you're talking about, is that they are designed for Tesla cars. They're a DC charge. They're a level 3 charger, and so they do not work on any other car that doesn't have DC charging, and most of them don't.
It's crazy. I'm picky about stuff like this. Sorry, I spend my life redoing work. Proposals. Get back here. Okay. All
Okay.
right.
So I'll carry on with this. So It supports tourism. We got people coming here who wouldn't be able to get here if they don't have a charger, because they can't get home. It would encourage people purchasing electric vehicles. It provides revenue. I'll describe what I'm just below here. You know, I got some information from some of the different companies that supply the service, and the electric cost for a level 2 charger is about 80 cents per kilowatt hour, and you typically charge $2, $2.50 to $3.50 for a kilowatt hour. So the difference between the 80 cents and the $3.50 is pure profit. So that pays for a lot of the administration and electric power costs. So it does make money. It's a good return for investment. It's a low startup cost. Typically, these EV stations, depending on which level that you build them at, they can run probably about $2,000 for just the installation. As Bob mentioned earlier, if we actually install it on a pole that is a utility pole that already has power, then the cost becomes actually negligible. It's just a matter of electrician hooking it up for a couple of hours. So the cost is low for installation anyways. Future expansion.
Sorry, can you scroll up again for a second? Hang on, low cost. EV infrastructure cost is a one-time installation cost. Those are estimates and one sample, correct?
Yep. And in some of the additional packages I added to the end, that information, some of the information is in there.
Okay, I think we should just be clear that this is either one example or other cost, other.
How about say sample cost, EV infrastructure sample?
Yeah, I just don't want council to think that this is the standard cost across the board. This is just one provider's costing as so that they have an example.
Yeah, just say
they have some
cost.
idea of what to expect.
EV infrastructure sample cost. Like that.
What did you just do? Sorry. All right. Previous cost is a one-time installation fee of approximately. It's just, we want to put an estimate in there.
How about say EV infrastructure typical cost is?
We don't know. Sorry, this is what I do all day. So we can't say typical
Yeah.
if we don't know that for a fact, like that you haven't looked at 8 different service providers or that there's a published industry figure or something like that.
Approximately, I think covers.
Yeah,
It's broad because you've got a good broad range here. So this is estimate range of to which is dependent.
As I said, if it's installed on an existing pole, it's like the cost is very low. If it's not, and you install it in a parking lot that has 200 feet of underground cable buried in concrete, like it could be tens of thousands of dollars in installation. So this was an example of a range that one of the vendors came back with. So that's what I used. But
yeah,
right,
and we are not, I mean, I think it's good you went to a vendor, but we also want to be careful that we're not, you know, shilling for that vendor as well too.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they're not named, so
right. Yeah,
we're okay on that. But I do on that point, we should be clear, and it's something that needs to be addressed up in that front slide. Mike, you said it, and I think it needs to be emphasized way at the beginning is that there's a lot of information out there, that there are private and public companies doing this kind of thing, and that you spoke to one vendor for information purposes, and you you're sharing that information now, just to be clear that this is like not even the tip of the iceberg, that that there's more information out there that it should be explored, but this is for just to be clear that this is just an example of some costing for their purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could add a disclaimer to the beginning of this if you want, or something like that.
Yeah, that would be better. Just because somebody who's not familiar with this may misinterpret this as, oh, these are industry numbers and this is a done deal, and so I can call up anyone and expect these prices and all this kind of stuff, or that they don't have to shop it around, or whatever the case may be. Let's just be transparent and call it out at the beginning. Lots of information, and this is just some research that we've come across that we're sharing.
What we could do is, we could, the very first paragraph, we could call it scope, and in that first paragraph state that the following information is for information only, and is not, you know, something
That's
like
good.
that.
Okay, moving on to page 3.
Okay.
Okay, well, the last bit of that page 2, by the way, was the fact that I added the fact that future expansion. In the future, the municipality should really be looking at electric vehicles. And so this is an opportunity, if we have our own charging station, literally on the side of the firehouse wall, or on the town hall building, or somewhere nearby, hey, you charge your own vehicles. So it's for the future also.
That's a good
Maybe
point.
that's the home of the charging station at the fire station. Just reverse that strategy.
Because personally, I don't, I would think the greatest impact would be Parks Canada, where the handicap parking spaces are, whether we could ever sweet talk Park Canada into cooperating. But failing that, Mike and I had talked before about the municipal parking lot beside the vet's office.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there is a hydro pole right there, and with some movement in that, within that parking lot, I even went so far as to speak to the owner of the parking lot, and he's certainly in favor of it. But as he mentioned, I may not own this forever.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, it could give us a great starting location. The problem with putting it on the municipal lots is I'm certain there'd be a lot of people very concerned with how far it is from the commercial core.
Actually, that's not a concern. This is surprising. I've been looking at where they've been putting all of these chargers. They're putting them all in really obscure places. It's in Kempville, behind the bank, across from Canadian Tire. There's a what is it? It's not Bank of Nova Scotia. There's a bank right across the street.
Oh, there's a Scotiabank and a TD.
Scotiabank, yeah, there's a Scotiabank there, and the charging station is behind the building in their parking lot. In Kempville, they have it at a car dealership. They have them in the weirdest places.
There's one at the bowling alley as well.
There you go. And in Kempville, there's one right in front of the where across from the Tim Hortons in the where the who's in there? It's not Radio Shack.
Yeah, source. Yeah.
In the interest of time, sorry guys, because I think that's a little ahead of us and a little off topic. We've got what looks like 7 pages to do in 15 minutes.
Okay. So when to do it? Let's do it now, because charging stations are needed. It's the future. So I think the fact that one of the reasons why we want to bring this forward now is because of the fact that the new VSIP program is going to happen in the spring. This is now when it's going to happen. So very shortly, I expect the federal government to announce this program again. And they only give you a narrow window of time to apply. So it really would behoove us to have the municipality look at this beforehand. So if they decide to go ahead with it, that they'll be ready for them. So who can do it? Like I said, there's many companies that do it.
I'm taking out the names because that's where we have to be careful. And again, I'm always mindful of how to quantify, like many means many things to many people. Haha. Yes. I just changed it to numerous.
Okay.
Yeah.
the interesting bit here is that there's companies you can contract this to. So you don't actually, one of the questions we had originally was, I think Bob, at one point you said, well, who does this? Like, who do you call? Well, in fact, there's companies that do it. Stand over, just turnkey, and, they'll run it, they'll do everything. So if you want to do that way, it's there. So basically, installation can be contracted, the operation can be contracted, and so that's just a matter of investigating the different suppliers. Where? So basically, what I'm suggesting is that these EV charging stations should be here in Merrickville. We're not alone. Kemptville has installed them. Kingston, Smith Falls. In the local area, there are chargers, but there's not many. There's probably under a dozen, it's under half a dozen actually. So there is demand. It definitely would get used if we installed one here. Again, what I've just, with regards to locations, possible locations for the stations, as you mentioned, Bob, that it could be done on the street side installation, or it could be done in a parking lot. All that's required is the power, the 240 volt hydro, and obviously a space to put it in. So many locations would be acceptable. One of the things
Honestly, I would recommend we take this right out based on what we were just saying. What do you think?
I would suggest you should stay there, because one of the things that's going to come out of this is, I imagine people are going to say, well, where are you going to put this? And I don't want it, on my house. We're like, where do these things go? People don't know anything about them. They're new.
How about this? Possible locations for charging stations could be, so take out the level 2, the plugins, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that looks
Yeah.
good. It opens up the possibility of them being anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and then by not specifying level 2, it leaves it open to whatever they choose.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It gives them some ideas. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I would take
So,
out quotes. I would take
sorry.
out, don't you think we should take out pricing?
So can we just back up for a sec to the locations? What you maybe should do is put the Parquet Municipal Town Hall, whatever, put it in brackets and say, etc. So it's basically we're going to be put in parking lots and side streets, i.e. Blockhouse Parquet, something like that.
Put that.
Okay. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other thing,
How
same
about
effect.
put etc., not TBD? Yeah, comma,
How about?
etc.
Okay, could be municipal parking lot.
Okay. So where can these things be installed? They can be installed on mounting poles, or they can be installed on buildings even. So what are we talking about? There's 3 types of chargers. There's a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. The level 1 is 115 volt charger. They have a long charging period. Typically, it's something you install in your house to install overnight, for overnight charging. Level 2 is 240 volt charger, and these ones are sort of mid-range. They run from 2 to 5 hour charge. Some of the documentation I come across, the average charging rate in Kingston was 2 hours and I think 40 minutes. So it gives you an idea of the range. It's a mid-cost for level 2. For the actual charger, it's around roughly average as well $5,000 per plug. And the level 3 is very expensive. Has a very fast charging. It's 20 to 30 minutes, but the physical installation is bigger, and it's a lot more expensive.
Where's the pricing from?
I'm sorry?
Where's the price? Where did you get your numbers for the costs?
They came out of the documentation that's on the end.
Okay, was it from a study or is it company numbers?
This is just general information. I think it came out of the Kingston package.
Okay.
So do we want to just specify that those are approximate costs, or these are the costs that were revealed at the time of investigation? Or
Yeah,
I'm not sure how you want to wordsmith that.
we need some.
I appreciate the costing that Mike's done and everything, but you want to make certain that people realize that these aren't concrete numbers. These are.
Yeah, if they came from the Kingston document, we can just say the cost below, outlined below are from, and then put the document title.
Does that work? Yeah, sounds good to me.
Why don't we
What
just-
document?
why
What,
don't we just say something to the effect that these are typical costs, and that kind of covers the whole issue of, is it exactly right or not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't know that they're typical.
Just say it's typical cost below, something like that.
what's the name of the document?
I'd have to,
Actually,
I actually don't want to
How
do that.
about,
I don't think you should do that. I think you should just state these are typical costs. And then in the package that, in the
Wait.
reference documentation, they can get final costs.
Yeah, and the thing is, municipalities and everyone else is aware that quoted costs and final costs are often divergent, if you will. But the idea that these give an example of costs would be the best
Typical cost.
typical costs. There we go.
there, we got our typical in there. Okay.
Yeah. And it certainly discourages a level 3, but it makes the level 2 seem quite accessible.
Yeah, it's to give you an idea. Okay, so as I say, the level 2 charger is the most cost effective. And as I mentioned before, it has a 2-hour, 36-minute typical average charging time. Okay. Next bit is in the VZIP program in 2 to 21. Provided, again, there's a 50% total cost of, so do we want to fix that or leave it at that? I think leave it for now. I think what I would do.
To say what the past was included funding of 50% of total cost to a maximum of 5,000. That's fact. That's clear.
Okay.
It's only, I think we got sidetracked when we started doing our own example calculations. So this is, yeah, just leave it at that.
The point here was to say, basically, here's what it was before. So when they come up with a new program in 2022, maybe they'll raise it, right? Maybe they'll make the grant higher. Who knows?
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's important to say 2021.
Yeah, I think the estimated cost of the level 2 and the numbers, we could probably get rid of that.
Here.
Well, it's in 2021, it was only the level 2 that gave you $5,000. So you can't remove the level 2.
Okay, so then, well, we do say, okay, the past 2021 ZVIP government level 2 EV charging station grants provided for funding of, okay, so when you say level 2, we have the numbers, that's fine. And then we say they're expected to be introduced again in 2022.
No. Don't say anything like that. We can't guarantee they'll do that, right?
No, but it says are expected. So what you have is fine. But we're not, so I don't read that to say that the grant will be the same. I read that the grant may be reintroduced, but there's no expectation that it will be exactly as it was in 2021. My interpretation, others may read it differently.
Okay, no, that was similar funding is fine.
That's why I added that in there because we don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's good.
Uh,
And just to keep in mind, if I can just, this will be presented, it'll be an opportunity for each counselor and the mayor and staff to read this. It's the direction from council to staff, which will be for them to hopefully investigate the funding options, identify areas to put the, et cetera. So we're going to throw it, this is all going to be thrown back on staff, the legwork. But what we're presenting to council is, this is the, if you will, the meat and potatoes. If you wish to get involved, staff will be tasked with with involvement from here on in. But what we're doing is putting a hook out for the for council to recognize what a valuable thing this would be in the community.
So
Yeah, I don't think we should be naming any supplier.
no,
Actually, I think you have to leave it in because at the end of this document, I actually put that quote in there. So it's actually in writing.
I don't agree. I don't agree
Okay,
it should be in there at all. I
so-
don't think that's our place.
what we could do is say, see Appendix A for sample pricing. And then it's there if you want to go look for it, but it doesn't give them, because there is that concern about unfair advantage to that particular supplier.
The point here is
How about for a,
It's a sample of a real quote. So it's
It's
real.
not our
number.
place. That's not our place.
It's good that it's a real number. My concern is that it is only from one vendor and it gives them, as slight as it may be, it could possibly give them an unfair advantage and cause problems down the road for the municipality, because this company's name is now in front of council and it may snowball, and then
I don't think it should be in there at all. I don't think it's our place. I think that's for council to direct staff to go find.
I think that's a very good point. And I think, but along where Mike is going, if we took if it's possible to take an example quote, again, perhaps you're right. Maybe we shouldn't.
I'd rather, honestly, I'd rather not.
I'm going
I
to
respond to way too many federal government RFPs, and any sniff of a collusion or being feared or whatever, you're toast. And again, this is a document that's going to be sitting with council. It's going to be visible to anybody that anybody wants to look at it. And the minute there's a named brand in there, that's the perception of perceived advantage.
So may I suggest that what we do is remove flow and just say the quoted cost, the quoted sample cost is, and just remove the name flow. So now it's a sample of a cost and there's the numbers.
How about how about this?
We've said it this.
Quoted cost from.
So the quoted sample cost is such and such, something like that.
How about that?
I'm quite happy with that.
Okay.
But I do
I can
very
live
much
with that.
appreciate that that you guys are aware of, you're probably well aware or more aware than I am in terms of federal government, how you have to really be careful. And Doug Robertson, our CAO, is one of those people who is super, pants and suspenders, cross your T's and dot your I's. So this is very good that we're conscious of his concerns.
Okay. I think it's important to have the numbers there because it gives it some credibility. And when we talk about low cost for this installation, otherwise it's just all blue, it's all smoke.
We're on page 5, guys.
It makes sense to have those numbers, but we can't have company names in there. That's just,
I think
and we don't know for certain that the next iteration of the ZBIP will be exactly the same either. So that it might be best to conclude that is a sample cost from the previous, because that's from the previous ZBIP program, was it not?
No, I wouldn't say that, Bob, because of the fact that this quote is today's quote. It was actually a quote of 2 weeks ago. So it was in that quote, the vendor mentioned that there was, in addition to this cost of this, there was a grant that was available. So this is not the quoted price with the grant. This is the real price of the actual cost of the unit. So it has nothing to do with grant.
Okay, thanks, Mike. No, appreciate that.
Okay, I think we're good there.
All right. So the conclusion, basically, accessibility, environmental, financial benefits to Marrickville-Wolford presents a very strong case for establishing electric vehicle charging station infrastructure in the community. So that sort of, I think is a good statement because it just says, hey, it's worth doing. The recommendations are the ones that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. So I think the recommendations is a bit that we got to explore more.
If I could just
go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, sorry, if I Chair, if I could proceed, just to go back up Donna's to about 4 lines. So recently quoted cost of the installation would cost the municipality. Would we want to include there under the previous grant program? Installation would cost the municipality, because again,
if we stated that, Bob, then the cost would only be $1,300, not $11,000.
That's what you put here.
Yeah, but no, you've got the cost at $1,352. But I want to stress is that this was under the previous.
Oh, okay.
So we don't know what the current program is.
So Donna, just go down to where the bracket is with ZIP, just put with previous ZIP grant rebate.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just
right after the 1352.
Yeah.
Okay, just a sec.
Okay. I know it seems like I'm splitting hairs.
No, you're not. No, that's why we're looking at this. What did I just do? Oh, crap.
No, a quoted cost.
No,
from-
recently, I did have recently. I just went too many,
Gotcha.
I don't want to take that out. I just did one too many undos. I was trigger happy with 2021,
Perfect. There we go.
with
Okay.
the 2021. Okay.
Now, if I could get some clarification from you, Bob, on our conclusion, is that what council wants from us, or should our conclusion say the committee recommends council further explore this option?
I think what Mike's included in there is very, exactly, it's
Mhm.
environmental, financial benefits,
Mhm.
etc. Tourism, I mean, you can tick off all the boxes with
Mhm.
this.
It's okay. So sorry, I should clarify. The part for establishing provides a very strong case for establishing electric vehicle charging station infrastructure in our community.
Yeah.
That is that what is that in line with what council wants to see, or should we scale that back a bit? And
I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
okay,
It's we're talking about something that I believe we believe in as a committee, and
Mhm.
we could go on and on if you wanted to. I mean, even for the village to reach their own carbon reduction, as was pointed out in the Kingston model for flow, if a community sets carbon reduction targets,
Okay.
this can help sustain that or help achieve that.
if you're good with it, I'm good with that. I'm just not familiar enough with how we should be phrasing our conclusions and recommendations to council.
I believe Doug Robertson will go over this with a fine tooth comb and come back to us if he has any
Okay.
issues with that sort of thing.
Oh, the recommendations, sorry, Donna, we didn't get to those.
Yeah. If I might suggest that the recommendation is where, I think what you're talking about, Helen, that that's the wording that we've got to get right, so that how it comes out of our committee is worded properly. So as you said, it doesn't step on toes, and we just say, here's our recommendation, do with it what you will.
Okay,
So the wording there, I think is, I just made a general statement, but I think that's something we should really fine tune.
okay.
And probably with your help, Bob, we could get the wording of that just right, so that it will be taken with the right skew, if you like.
Yeah, so the municipality of Merrick Wolford. The municipality, yeah. I
Over
think
time.
you've done a really good job, guys.
Yeah.
Very, very
Mike, you've done an
positive.
amazing job.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, this is going to be, I'm very, very positive about this. So now, do we want to, are we happy with this product? Do we want to?
Just for curiosity, can I just finish the last
Yeah.
bit that I added?
Sorry, Mike. Yeah.
So
Sorry.
what's after this now is what was added today. So today, we mentioned before, you wanted some reference linkage. So that's what's in the next paragraph, the supporting documentation. So I added the links to the case study that was done by Flo for City of Kingston. I added Carlton Place. There was an article in one of the, I think it was the Times, that had information about their chargers they were putting in. And also I put in a guide for charging that was supplied by one of the vendors. Just give you an idea about more general tutorial knowledge, if you like, about chargers. So all those references are good references. They can just literally grab them, go on the internet and look them up. Anybody can do that. So that's what that next bit is under the links. If I go underneath that.
Sorry, Mike, we need to make a recommendation to council, because that's
right.
the key, right? The whole work of what you've done is
Yeah.
summarized in our
Can
recommendation.
we come back to that? All I want to do is just quickly go through the rest.
Okay.
I'm going to see if you want me to include the rest. It's important though, because you've removed the vendors. So there's what it looks like in a poll. This is a case study that was done. So that's information is general, it's out there, it's fine. The next bit is again, some more pictures of what it looks like. And then the flow chargers of funding. Okay, so this is the one
This has got to
maybe
come
we're
out.
closer at, because we should either remove this or
Yeah, it's got to be removed.
remove flow.
Absolutely, it's not our place to have this in there, not even a hint of it.
Yeah. I can certainly agree on that. And the thing to keep in mind, Mike, that the links that you just provide the links,
Mhm.
and what you've done is you've done a lot of the groundwork for the staff when they're looking this up, because again, staff is going to be tasked with this. So
Okay. So I think you're right. We should remove that last bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's total
Sorry,
strikeout.
Do you want the, Bob, are you talking about the supporting documentation and the highlighted notes? Do you
I
want
would
that
leave
taken?
that, I would certainly leave that in,
Okay.
supporting
Yeah.
documentation and reference internet links. I think that's.
Yeah, it's
that's-
the any name brand. It's
Yeah.
like saying Nike when you're talking running shoes. It would be
Okay, so if that picture
collusion.
stays, we have to block out that picture, even though it's public documentation, because we're advertising for Flow right there.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh, right.
No, actually, that documentation comes from the city of Kingston. That's,
Right.
that's their
Uh,
installation.
I
there's a-
understand that,
There's a way around it.
And their report is called Flow whatever. It's our first source right up.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
What
Yeah,
color do you want it? Let's make
Oh.
it green with the trees. There we go.
No,
Because
that works.
it's a name brand, right?
Yeah.
And
I
And yes,
appreciate,
it's from Kingston, but again, it's any hint of a brand.
Yeah.
And let's say Joe Blow sees this and he didn't win the contract and Flo did.
and
gone.
that's- and those are the things that our CAO protects the village from. He's incredibly sensitive, and we appreciate what he does, but he's definitely Doug Robertson is very conscious of protecting the village from any perceived liability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All
so
right, so
just in
back
essence of time, should we go back to the recommendation for council?
Yep.
Chair,
Oh,
sorry.
scroll up. Can you go back to the Toronto picture quickly? I think there's another flow on that box. Yeah.
Oh, there is too, yeah. Good eye.
You encourage me when you agree with me.
Nice job. There we go.
And we'll make this one blue. There we go.
Very
We got
good.
Doug's back.
Yeah. No, I just, again, I live on responding to these documents, so
Do
Yeah.
we need, oh shit, we can't do, sorry. The Flow City of Kingston case study link, and then it's right to the Flow website.
okay, I was gonna have to come out.
Does that have to, do those two
It'll
have to go?
I think it'll have to go.
I wouldn't do that, because what's in that study it's out there. It's out in the internet.
But
So,
let the village, let the
what are we
staff,
doing?
it's not for us
This
to put
study,
it
the
on the,
information that's in it is really important.
Mike, let the staff find it, not us. What we have to be mindful of is we are not staff. Let them find it. Let them determine how to present that to Doug and the council, not us. So we need to remove any sniff of a branded name anywhere. Let staff do their work.
Can
This is
we,
wonderful that you've done this, but can't have anything like that in there.
can we just put in City of Kingston case study, no links, and then as a compromise?
Why don't we just let the staff find it?
How
Would you-
about, I'll make certain they find it. Is that-
Yeah,
that sounds
honestly, let
bad?
staff find it. This is phenomenal, but let staff find it.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to overthink what we're presenting because we're not staff. We're not being directed by council to do this. We're making a recommendation to council to direct their staff to do it.
Okay.
I'm adamant about that one, please. Okay, so recommendation, just it's also 8:40.
Okay, and CDAC.
I guess sorry, Bob.
For Wolford.
So I guess the first question is, do we, as a committee, agree that this is worth doing? That's the
Yes.
first question.
Yes.
So I think it is. Do we have to make a motion and vote on it or something, or?
No, that's our recommendation.
Okay,
So that'll go in the meeting minutes as our recommendation, which I'll copy and paste over into the meeting minutes,
okay,
which is then what we'll make, then that's the motion and we'll vote on that.
Yeah, so the
Sorry, Chair, I keep jumping in.
No, you're good.
investigates the opportunity to, okay, so we're going to.
Yeah, I know, I've got that in there twice.
The opportunity,
To
To
invest.
consider,
Yeah, okay, consider the. Okay,
the future.
we've got opportunity in there twice.
Yeah, let me just type something in and then we
Yeah,
can
okay,
maybe,
go ahead.
okay.
May I suggest,
Make the municipality investigates the opportunity to consider the future of electric vehicles in our community. This also could provide a sustainable source of revenue with minimal cost.
may I suggest that in the line where you have investigate opportunity to consider the future, why don't instead of consider, put support the future?
That's, yeah,
I don't agree.
no?
No, because not everybody's for electric vehicles.
But the point of this recommendation is we are recommending electric vehicles.
You know what?
Okay.
It's a word.
Investigates the opportunities, drop the future of electric vehicle charging stations. So drop the future of and add charging stations.
Sorry, to investigate the opportunity to support.
Electric vehicle charging stations in our community.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not
There we
there
go.
yet,
There
but
we
we're a
go.
little
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah, no, there we go. That works. Support electric vehicles in our community. I like that.
Electric vehicles or electric vehicle charging
Charge-
stations?
Charging stations in our community.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because that's our recommendation. Okay.
Okay.
And
Do
I
we-
think
should
I
we
would
even be
not-
putting the-
Opportunity to support electric vehicle charging stations in our community.
I don't think we need the rest of it, really.
No, I think that's redundant. Okay. So that's our recommendation, and that's what we're going to vote on.
Investigate.
Is it to support or to install? The opportunity to install.
We're
But-
getting them to investigate.
Yeah,
But implement.
We don't want to install, we're narrowing it down when you say install.
Okay.
Because we also don't know what the next grant iteration could be. The next grant iteration could be, who knows?
Speaking of grants, can we at the beginning, Mike, can you make an addition, or can we do this quickly right now? Make some sort of a note that there may be other grants available. This one particular one was explored to greater depth.
I don't think that's necessary.
I think from my own perspective, just watching the news in the last month, I think we're all aware that this is a push that's going on throughout communities. What we're doing is playing catch up, really, and my hat's off to the committee, because we're putting it in front of the council right now to try and play catch up with the rest of the municipalities in our neighborhood. So I think there is a high level of awareness throughout the community, I believe, right now.
I agree.
So you don't think we need anything about a reference point to there may be more grants available from other sources?
I think
not our place.
what will happen, and again, I'm repeating myself, but if we make enough of an impression on council, which I intend that we will, and I hope we will, but then it's up to council to task staff.
Okay.
Council's not allowed to do any of this stuff themselves. They task staff with this. Staff goes away with an understanding that this is the will of council to investigate this, and then they will. Stacy and other people in staff will be tasked with investigate every funding opportunity that comes along, et cetera, et cetera. Perhaps we can even, not in this document, but gently hint that they can work with Parks Canada. I think there's so many different agencies that this will tick so many boxes with that it should be an easy sell.
Okay, let me read the recommendation. So the CDAC committee is making the recommendation that the municipality of Marrickville-Wolford investigates the opportunity to support electric vehicle charging stations in our community.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm making that motion to move. I need a seconder.
Michael seconded.
Carried. And I will save this, resend it back.
Do we want to add a disclaimer in the very top line? This says basically this is some provided for information only and.
I don't think it's,
Yeah.
I don't really think that's necessary, Mike. This is a committee project that's being brought forward, a recommendation to council.
Yeah.
You're covered by whatever covers council in terms of. So the sooner we can vote on this recommendation, then we can send it off to the deputy clerk and the CAO,
Mhm.
and try and get it in the next council package.
When is the next council package?
April, oh, so we just had our meeting on the 11th, so it's April 25th. Will be the next council. So if we have this approved, we all approve this, not sorry, if you approve this as a committee, then it can be submitted, and providing it is submitted before next, well, Monday is a holiday, providing it's submitted before next Tuesday, then it can appear in the next council package. So it has to be a week before, at least 7 days. So if we can get it in by Friday, we should be, like this Friday, there should be no issue with it. And I'm going to chase this down too. I'll contact Doug Robertson and see if there's anything else we need to do to make certain that it gets on the next council package.
Okay. So this will get recirculated. Are we doing another read through, or once it gets recirculated or sent to me, I send it out to deputy and CAO?
Well, you'd have to take this copy and approve it.
Okay.
As a committee in order for it to go. And once it can still be cleaned up. I believe we have the soul and heart and soul of this report. If this committee approves it, the cleaned up version can be sent on.
Okay, so how do
voted on it, and it's in your minutes. And then we have to submit the minutes.
Can the committee approve the final version by email?
I'm really not certain of that, Mike. The worst case scenario is that we would have to have another very, very brief meeting to approve this. But again, then you get into posting the meeting times ahead of time,
yeah.
recording and everything else. So if there's anything that and again, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't make the April meeting, as long as it's on the agenda for the first meeting in May.
Can we approve it now with some disclaimer like
Says amended approval of the
Yes.
approval amended document.
Yes, I believe that this committee, you're in an official meeting, it's being recorded and then live streamed. You can approve the amended document and recommend that it be sent on to the deputy clerk.
okay.
So it's now in everybody's inbox. So now I want to go back to the meeting minutes that I was.
So I would make a motion to approve.
Sorry, I'm okay. I'm back in the minutes. Okay, so what's your motion then, Mike?
So my motion is for the committee to approve the amended, what do I actually call this? Electric vehicle charging station proposal as discussed in this meeting.
Okay.
So the only thing now we can do is clean up the edits as is, no further changes.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay, and it's in your inbox, so I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, we need to vote.
I guess
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so go ahead, you two.
Yeah, no,
I
it's,
approve, I'll approve.
it's done, it's done, it's done. We need to set the next meeting date. It's 10 to 9, guys.
Yep. We said it, isn't it? Is it May 3rd? It's a Tuesday?
Ah, right, okay. We did,
7:30.
but I couldn't find the minutes from the last meeting. So we will have 2 minutes to review.
Okay, so May 3rd at 7:30 is
Yeah.
our next meeting. Okay, and is the expectation that I'm cleaning up this document or?
To me, it should be Mike's, but that's.
Okay, that's good. I just didn't want to, it wasn't clear. And so that's fine. Mike, if you want to clean it up, tell me when it's done and then I'll ship it out.
Okay, Donna, can you send me the final version then?
You both
Yes.
just got it. Everybody just got it.
Oh, okay, great.
And just in case, I just want to warn everybody, just in case there's some bizarre hiccup because of that I've got it wrong as to what can be done. at our May 3rd meeting, we may have to approve it again,
Mhm.
but it will definitely, we'll try and get it onto the next council agenda. If that doesn't work, don't be discouraged. We'll definitely have it in the first council agenda in May.
Okay,
But we'll try and get it
Perfect.
on the next one in April.
okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Who's seconding?
Right.
Okay, meeting closed at 8:51 PM.
Thank you so much, folks. Good
Thanks,
job, guys.
Good job, Mike.
Thanks,
thank you.
everyone. Have a good Easter.
Well done.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.